There are moments in life when the world seems to be against you. Everything feels heavy and hopeless, and you wonder if you have the strength to keep going. You stand before closed doors, with failure following one after another like an endless chain, and in your heart echoes the question, can I overcome this? Yet, in the very moments that seem the most hopeless, there is a silent power waiting for you to recognize it, a power that does not come from luck or sudden success, but from the ability to be patient, endure, and maintain inner peace even when life's storms rage with all their force. This strength is neither loud nor celebrated, yet it determines how you face challenges, how you move forward after each failure, and how you see the light even in the darkest times. On this journey, you will meet ordinary people like yourself, people who seemed on the verge of collapse under challenges, yet chose to slow down, be patient, and take one step at a time. Some have lost everything, from their jobs to their families. Yet through patience, they gradually rebuild their lives, brick by brick, without rushing, without resentment. Some have been betrayed. What gives rise to this power? It is not a magic spell or a gift from the heavens. It is inner practice, the way a person learns to endure without anger, to wait without despair, and to trust that each challenge carries a seed of growth. In the stories you are about to hear, you will see that patience is not passive, nor is it blind endurance, but a subtle art of living where every step is deliberate, every emotion observed, and every failure turned into a valuable lesson. Imagine the feeling of standing before a challenge you once thought you could never overcome. Your heart feels heavy, everything around you seems to collapse, yet a part of you remains steady, still patiently taking steps, still believing that the small steps you take today will lead to a brighter tomorrow. Compassion. Throughout this video, each story will guide you through real experiences, from pain and failure to growth, from chaos and despair to inner peace. You will not only hear these fragments of life, but feel each breath, each step, each patient decision, and realize that the strength to overcome challenges has always existed within every person. And if you ever thought patience was difficult, an overwhelming challenge, prepare to be inspired by those who have proven that patience is the art of living, an art that allows us not only to survive, but to live fully, with peace. But from patience and endurance, maintaining inner peace even when chaos surrounds us. Patience is not passive suffering, but an inner art that allows us to observe our emotions, learn from failure, and move forward with wisdom and compassion. In this video, you will meet ordinary people confronting seemingly impossible challenges, who through patience and persistence find peace and transform hardship into inspiration. These stories demonstrate that peace and inner strength always begin with the ability to be patient in every step, every decision, and every breath. Part 1. Efficiency, achievement, and quick results. Technology evolves by the second. Information floods in, and opportunities and challenges appear simultaneously, leaving the mind stressed, confused, and unbalanced. In this context, patience and endurance become indispensable qualities, as they not only help us overcome difficulties, but also maintain inner stability, enabling us to observe and make wise choices in complex situations. Patience is the ability to pause, to see a situation objectively, and not allow emotions or external pressures to dictate our actions and decisions. Endurance, on the other hand, is the ability to withstand prolonged challenges without collapsing or losing faith in life. In modern society, pressures from work, studies, relationships challenge if we lack the capacity for endurance. Yet patience allows us to see the bigger picture, understand that everything has its own timing and process, and realize that every challenge can be resilience and compassion. Patience and endurance are valuable not only in major trials, but also in the smallest details of daily life. They help us remain calm in communication, listen and understand rather than react impulsively, and find solutions instead of being driven by emotion. In the workplace, patience allows us to complete tasks thoroughly, avoid mistakes, and develop strategic problem-solving skills. In learning, endurance helps students stay focused, persist through practice, and accept that growth requires time, effort, and mistakes as a natural part of the, and see that every challenge offers an opportunity to grow. Endurance is not merely tolerating hardships, but a form of inner cultivation, where every difficult experience nurtures compassion, peace, and mindfulness, realizing that every challenge carries a precious lesson. In modern society, where everything moves so fast, people are easily caught in cycles of comparison, competition, and external pressures. Without patience, every failure feels overwhelming, every challenge feels insurmountable, and a sense of stagnation can spread through life. But with endurance, past or anxious about the future, and understand that success, happiness, or inner peace is not the result of a single moment, but the outcome of persistent patience and steady practice. Patience and endurance also support healthy relationships. When conflicts arise, reacting too quickly can escalate disputes and cause deep wounds. But by patiently listening, enduring, and observing both our own and others' emotions, relationships have the chance to heal, foster understanding, and maintain harmony. Here, endurance becomes a guiding principle of life, not only helping individuals overcome difficulties, but also cultivating compassion and wisdom in every action. Thus, in a modern context with its fast pace and constant pressures, patience and transform challenges into opportunities, the path to growth, cultivating wisdom and compassion, and finding peace within the soul amid the turbulence of modern life. 1.2. Patience and endurance in Buddhism, mindfulness, forbearance, and acceptance of impermanence. In Buddhist teachings, patience and endurance are considered essential qualities of spiritual life, not only helping individuals overcome difficulties but also serving as a means to cultivate wisdom, compassion, and inner peace. Unlike the common perception that endurance is merely tolerating or bearing, Buddhism views it as endurance in Buddhism is mindfulness. Mindfulness is not only being aware of external events, but also being aware of every thought, emotion, and reaction within oneself in each moment. Through mindfulness, we learn to pause, observe our emotions without judgment, and understand that every experience is impermanent, constantly changing. This forms the foundation for cultivating deep endurance, not only in action but also within the mind, preventing us from being swept away by emotional turbulence or reactive impulses. Next is forbearance, another critical aspect of endurance in Buddhism. Forbearance does not mean weakness or unconditional submission. It is the ability to withstand hardship, suffering, or even injustice without letting resentment or anger take hold of suffering. Recognize that everything happens due to causes and conditions, and that pain, disappointment, or challenges are natural parts of the growth process. It also opens space for cultivating, only for overcoming challenges, but also for living fully in the present, appreciating every moment, and not allowing the past or future to dominate emotions. In Buddhist practice, patience and endurance are also expressed through calmly facing people and circumstances without judgment or hasty reactions. When conflicts arise, a person practicing endurance does not seek to impose or retaliate but observes, listens, and responds wisely based on mindfulness. This reduces suffering for oneself and others while nurturing compassion and wisdom in every action. Endurance in this way is not passivity. It is active calmness, a silent strength guiding life through turbulence. A classic example is the story of the Buddha and Angulimala. Angulimala was a notorious murderer, spreading fear far and wide. When facing Angulimala, the Buddha did not shout or become angry but approached calmly, maintaining mindfulness and patience, leading Angulimala toward a complete transformation. This story illustrates that endurance not only helps one overcome personal challenges, but also possesses the power to transform others, spreading compassion and wisdom. Endurance is not just an internal state. It is ethical action, a means to bring benefit to oneself and the community. Furthermore, in Buddhism, patience and endurance are linked with meditation. Effortless and stress-free, becoming part of a conscious and balanced way of living. Practitioners of endurance do not merely tolerate hardships. They learn to embrace stillness and difficulty, see clearly the impermanent and transient nature of all things, and maintain inner peace and clarity. Endurance in Buddhism also involves the ability to let go of attachment, learning to accept. Through this practice, every challenge ceases to be a source of fear or pressure and becomes an opportunity for growth, nurturing compassion, wisdom, and inner peace in every moment of life. The quiet power of patience, where mind, body, and life converge. Patience is not just a psychological or spiritual quality. It is an inner strength that permeates every moment of life. People constantly face pressure, invisible expectations, and unexpected challenges. In this flow, patience becomes an invisible compass, maintaining balance between the external rush and the inner calm, a silent power that allows every step to be mindful and meaningful. On the level of the mind, patience helps individuals observe themselves deeply when faced with challenges. Instead of reacting impulsively or allowing anger and disappointment to dominate, those who practice patience learn to pause, breathe, feel, and observe their emotions. This opens a wide inner space, where worries, stress, or sadness no longer consume the mind. They can perceive situations more holistically, make wiser decisions, and continue moving forward without being trapped by temporary. The nervous system stabilizes, the immune system functions more effectively, and internal organs experience less strain. Patience reduces cortisol levels, the stress hormone, helping prevent. When facing different personalities, perspectives, and ways of thinking, impatience can lead to conflict and misunderstanding. In contrast, patient people know how to listen, respect differences, and wait for the right moment to communicate or resolve issues. They not only reduce friction but also build lasting connections based on understanding and empathy. In professional settings, a well-timed act of patience or a calm response in a tense meeting can change the direction of a project, fostering trust and credibility with colleagues, partners, or clients. Patience, therefore, is not merely a personal virtue. It is a tool for connection and positive influence in the world around us. Regarding career development, patience is a key factor for sustainable success. The ability to remain patient ensures steady performance, creates real value, and builds long-lasting credibility. Many renowned scientists, entrepreneurs, and artists have proven that success does. Difficulties and losses thus become precious lessons, shaping life skills, compassion, and understanding. Furthermore, patience allows individuals to turn challenges into opportunities for growth, connection, and creating value. Unexpected obstacles, stressful work situations, or life's pressures no longer weigh heavily, but become chances to mature, develop skills, and build lasting reputation. Patience is a subtle advantage that helps navigate all situations, from the smallest details of daily life to the most important decisions in career and relationships. In summary, enduring through personal challenges. Before we dive into each story, let us take a moment to recognize the hidden power of patience. Every challenge, every failure, every difficult moment can become an opportunity to train the mind, cultivate compassion, and find inner peace. In this section, vivid real-life stories will demonstrate how endurance helps people overcome adversity, and how patience shapes their lives in unexpected and profound ways. 2.1. When life's storms pass, a journey to rediscover light. James would never forget the day he received the letter informing him of his dismissal from the company where he had worked for over a decade in London. The job he had once considered stable, secure, and a source of pride suddenly disappeared, leaving both a financial and emotional void. He remembered the hurried mornings to the office, the tense meetings, and the small achievements that had once brought him pride. Losing his job didn't just mean losing income. Reflect, cultivate inner strength, and find a new path. James began dedicating time each day to meditate, observing his thoughts and emotions without judgment, quietly acknowledging his fear and meaning to his life. He recalled personal projects he had once abandoned due to work, creative passions put aside, and dreams that had seemed to fade. Patience not only helped him survive the crisis, but also opened space for self-discovery in a deeper sense. Over time, James understood that career setbacks are a natural part of life, and how he responded would determine his future. direction. He began exploring freelance work and small projects he had never considered before. Each challenge and difficulty became an opportunity to learn, hone his skills, and strengthen his avoiding anxiety or impulsiveness. Each day, he took time to review his progress, acknowledge even the smallest achievements, and appreciate every step forward, however gradual, toward his goals. Inner cultivation, the ability to face failure with composure, learn from adversity, and move forward step by step. Patience allowed him not only to regain his career path, but also to nurture wisdom. Patience is the ability to accept impermanence, observe all emotions, and not be swept away by external storms. Meditation and mindfulness helped James not only survive adversity, but also develop life. James had endured dark days, doubted himself, and questioned the path he had chosen. Yet, through patience, he understood that every challenge brings a chance to grow. Every difficulty is anyone, in any circumstance, can find light if they remain patient, calm, and keep moving forward. 2.2. Step by Step Through Financial Storms. A Journey of Patience to Rebuild Life. Sophia never imagined that one day she would stand at the edge of a financial abyss, where every bill and expense became a weight pressing heavily on her shoulders. She lived in Toronto, a city full of decisions, combined with unexpected life events, caused her to lose her primary income, and accumulated debts quickly became a nearly insurmountable burden. The first days were overwhelming. Overcome the difficulties. Sophia started by carefully recording every expense and income, creating a clear picture of her financial situation. This first step, though simple, was crucial. Understanding reality with transparency. She realized that although the situation was serious, there were small areas she could control and adjust to ease the pressure. Patience emerged as she learned not to rush, not to seek quick fixes or risky shortcuts, but to persist step by step, adjusting spending, optimizing resources, and exploring additional income opportunities. Letting fear or pressure dictate her actions. When rejected in interviews or failing to reach financial goals in a given month, she did not give up, but treated these moments as challenges to learn. Sophia found part-time work to cover basic expenses while developing freelance skills in marketing, a field she loved. She learned to combine multiple income sources, balance spending and saving, and, most importantly, not let financial pressure derail her or diminish her self-worth. Patience not only helped Sophia regain control over her finances, but also taught her that any difficulty can be overcome with steady perseverance and self-belief. Beyond finances, this experience taught Sophia emotional management and emotional intelligence. She learned to observe anxiety, stress, stabilize life, and transform challenges into opportunities for growth. Sophia's story also exemplifies the Buddhist principles of impermanence and patience. No situation, however serious, lasts forever. By accepting impermanence, observing her emotions, and acting mindfully, she not only overcame her difficulties, but also learned to maintain inner peace, steadfastness, and an understanding of life's true value. Each patient step, though slow, laid a solid foundation for the future. Through this journey, Sophia proved that patience is not passive waiting. Storms, helping her regain confidence, peace, and the ability to navigate life meaningfully and fully. 2.3. Acceptance and Patience in the Face of Illness. A Journey to Restore Health. Alexander, a photographer living in Berlin, had always taken his health for granted, prioritizing work above all else. He spent most of his time traveling across Europe, capturing life's moments, rarely paying attention to signs of fatigue or stress in his body. However, one morning, after a long trip, he noticed his body weakening unusually, persistent fatigue, mild shortness of breath. When medical tests confirmed that he had a serious autoimmune disease, Alexander entered a period of both physical and mental crisis. Once a person used to controlling everything, he now faced his body's fragility and unexpected limitations. Initially, fear, helplessness, and disappointment flooded his mind, leaving him almost directionless. Yet in those first difficult days, helping Alexander commit to the long treatment process, physical therapy sessions, medications, a strict diet, and lifestyle changes he had once neglected. He learned to endure the slow progress. Impermanence. His body had changed. His health was no longer as it once was. But instead of resentment or sadness, he focused on what he could still do. Short morning walks, breathing exercises, enjoying nutritious meals, and connecting with loved ones. Patience and mindfulness allowed him not only to withstand illness, but also to find inner peace he had never experienced in his previously hectic life. Day by day, Alexander observed small improvements in both body and mind. A slight reduction in pain, a longer walk in physical therapy, a morning waking up with more energy than the day before, all were proof of the power of patience and persistence. He understood that recovery was not just physical, but also a spiritual journey, learning acceptance, patience, and self-compassion. The seemingly small moments, smiling at himself, taking a deep breath, acknowledging every minor progress, became vital steps. Alexander realized that in ordinary life, people often overlook these precious details, but when facing a crisis, each moment serves as motivation to continue. Patience not only helped him overcome illness, but also opened a door to deeper appreciation of life, valuing every second and every small step forward. Alexander's journey also exemplifies the Buddhist principles of impermanence and endurance. All states of health, pain, and challenges are. Develop emotional intelligence, manage stress, maintain inner peace, and cherish each precious moment. After months of persistent treatment, Alexander began seeing clear improvements. He could return to photography projects, take long walks in the city without exhaustion, and most importantly, he rediscovered joy and peace in every moment. The quiet power of patience helped him not only restore his health, but also cultivate his spirit, learn self-love, and live a more meaningful life. Alexander's story reminds us that patience in the face of health challenges is not passivity, but the ability to endure, accept, and gradually recover. It enables people to confront harsh realities while maintaining peace, recognize the value of each small progress, and build lasting inner strength. In every pain and difficulty, patience serves as a bridge between crisis and hope, between loss and complete recovery. Part 3. Patience in relationships. Every relationship, whether with family, friends, or colleagues, carries challenges and opportunities to cultivate patience. Things do not always go smoothly. Conflicts, misunderstandings, or differences in perspectives can arise at any time. In this section, vivid real-life stories will demonstrate the power of patience, showing how it helps people maintain connections, build trust, and nurture lasting bonds, even when facing difficulties that seem insurmountable. 3.1. When patience resolves family conflicts. Every family experiences moments of tension, times when voices and friction. His parents, from a generation that valued tradition and stability, always hoped their children would follow a secure, predictable path, while Lucas was passionate about art, even confront them to defend his point of view. Gradually, however, Lucas realized that anger or stubbornness would not resolve the issues, only deepen tension and distance within the heart. He understood that comprehending his parents' fears and expectations was the first step toward building a bridge rather than creating more distance. Patience allowed him to manage negative reactions, creating space for calmer, more respectful conversations. Over several months, Lucas gradually changed how he interacted with his family. Instead of reacting immediately to criticism, he listened, asked clarifying questions to better understand, and shared his perspectives gently, without arguing. This patience not only reduced tense conflicts, but also helped his parents recognize his effort and seriousness in pursuing his chosen path. It wasn't only about staying calm. Lucas also learned to accept that not every disagreement could be resolved immediately. Some differences remained, but patience helped him avoid being swept away by frustration or anger. Instead, he focused on positive moments of connection, family meals, shared conversations, and small collaborative mutual understanding. He realized that patience is not passive endurance, but the art of staying calm, listening, and nurturing connection, even when facing differences and seemingly insurmountable. Open heart. Individuals can not only resolve conflicts, but also cultivate empathy, compassion, and lasting bonds. In every family, patience serves as a bridge, helping members navigate challenges. Conflicts with colleagues during an important company project. The project required close collaboration among team members, but differences in ideas, work styles, and tight deadlines led to constant disagreements. Initially, Emma felt frustrated and disappointed. She often reacted immediately when her opinions were dismissed or misunderstood, which made the work environment tense and sometimes threatened to break the bonds between team members. However, Emma realized that approaching the situation with anger or hasty reactions would only make things worse. She began practicing patience. Before each meeting, she prepared mentally, took deep breaths, and observed her own emotions. When her ideas were challenged, instead of reacting immediately, Emma learned to listen, acknowledge others' perspectives, and understand why they held those views. This patience gradually became a tool that helped her maintain calm during difficult discussions. Emma discovered that by restraining her reactions, not only did she feel more at ease, but the work environment also became more pleasant and productive. Disagreements were no longer personal battles, but opportunities to. Patience not only helped maintain professional relationships, but also strengthened friendships among team members, creating bonds based on trust and mutual respect. Emma applied this principle not only at work, but also with close friends. On one occasion, a misunderstanding about responsibilities in organizing an event caused tension within her longtime friend group. Instead of becoming angry or blaming others, Emma chose patience, spoke individually with each person, listened, and sought to understand their circumstances. Through this process, she helped the group calmly and rationally address the issue, restoring friendliness and cohesion. Emma's story emphasizes that patience is not weakness or passive acceptance, but the ability to remain calm, observe, listen, and persist in finding reasonable solutions. Patience in relationships helps people overcome misunderstandings and conflicts, transforming challenges that seem divisive into opportunities for understanding and connection. Through this experience, Emma demonstrated that the quiet power of patience can shape both one's career and personal life. By patiently listening, observing emotions, and respecting differing viewpoints, individuals not only resolve conflicts, but also build lasting relationships, creating work and social environments filled with cooperation, trust, and harmony. Emma's perseverance transformed seemingly insurmountable challenges into opportunities for learning, understanding, and nurturing relationships. It serves as a reminder that in every conflict, career, education, and career are long journeys filled with challenges, failures, and opportunities for growth. Success rarely comes immediately. One often faces pressure, competition, or repeated mistakes. In this section, real-life stories will illustrate the power of patience, showing how it helps people overcome difficulties, persist in learning, and gradually build a sustainable career while discovering meaning and joy in the process of personal and professional growth. 4.1. The journey of patience toward career success. From the very first days stepping into the vibrant music scene of Los Angeles, Ethan faced countless challenges that no warning could have prepared him for. Music was not just a career for him. It was his breath, his burning passion. Yet the path was far from smooth. Early performances at small cafes, endless music lessons, and countless rejections often made Ethan feel discouraged. For many years, he stayed up late practicing, experimenting with melodies, learning from every failure, and gradually improving his skills. Every note, every harmony was carefully crafted, but the results were not always immediate. He began to practice patience not only in refining his technique, but also with himself. He realized that progress is not always measured by immediate results, but by the process of accumulation, perseverance, and a willingness to learn. Each failure, instead of breaking his spirit, became a lesson. He observed mistakes and sought ways to improve. Throughout this journey, Ethan also learned the value of accepting failure and impermanence in his career. Not every performance would succeed, not every song would be embraced by listeners, yet each experience contributed to cultivating patience, resilience, and continuous creativity. Patience gradually became part of him, allowing Ethan to remain calm, focused, and appreciative of every small step along the challenging musical. His patient journey. Ethan understood that success is not a sudden explosion, but the result of days of patience, step-by-step accumulation, and never abandoning one's passion. Ethan's story nurtures willpower and sparks joy in the journey of self-improvement. Ethan's journey also reflects the Buddhist philosophy of patience and forbearance. All achievements are the result of cumulative journey, step by step, breath by breath, note by note, helping one grow and attain profound value in learning and career. This story serves as a reminder that on the path of pursuing passion and career, patience is an invisible force guiding the way, helping individuals persevere, overcome obstacles, and ultimately reach success without losing themselves, their faith, or the joy in the journey of growth. 4.2. Patience in science. When persistent experiments lead to breakthroughs. Dr. Samuel Harris, a biological researcher at Cambridge, dedicated his entire life to finding a new forged. In the laboratory, Samuel spent countless hours observing biological reactions, meticulously recording every detail, and experimenting with various methods to find a feasible solution. Some days, he had to repeat the same experiment dozens of times just to verify data accuracy, yet the results were still failures. At such times, fatigue, stress, and pressure from colleagues and with the experiments, but also with himself. Instead of letting failure discourage him, he observed the results, analyzed the reasons for failure, and patiently adjusted variables and approaches. Patience allowed Samuel to maintain focus, calmness, and creativity in the challenging research environment. Over the years, Samuel faced what seemed like endless failures. Some colleagues abandoned, honed his research skills, but also developed his ability to deeply analyze problems and accept failure as a natural part of the pursuit of knowledge. After many years of perseverance, breakthrough. Samuel's story demonstrates that patience in learning and career, especially in scientific research, is key to overcoming failure, honing observation and analytical skills, and finding breakthrough solutions. Patience allows people to see the hidden value in every difficulty and understand that every step, however small, contributes to progress and invaluable knowledge. Samuel's journey also reflects Buddhist philosophy on forbearance and patience. All achievements are the result of cumulative effort, persistent moments, and the ability to accept impermanence, allowing individuals to grow and attain profound value in their scientific career. This story reminds us that on the path of discovering knowledge and building a career, patience is an invisible but crucial strength, enabling one to keep moving forward, overcome every challenge, and ultimately achieve meaningful breakthroughs while maintaining faith, focus, and joy throughout the long journey of. And she frequently questioned whether she had the ability to succeed. Clara started from the smallest steps, learning the alphabet, basic vocabulary, and simple sentence structures. She spent hours each day practicing writing, listening, and speaking, often recording herself to check her pronunciation and repeating exercises multiple times. Every mispronunciation, forgotten word, or misunderstood listening exercise left her disappointed, but she refused to give up. She understood that progress and learning is a gradual process that requires patience and persistent effort, step by step. Throughout her learning journey, Clara applied strategies of patience and methodical practice. She broke down her goals, set clear milestones, and took time to observe how she calm. Clara realized that patience was not only about continuing to try, but also about adjusting methods, observing results, and learning from mistakes. A significant part of Clara's journey involved communication skills. She learned to accept that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process, and that being patient with herself was just as important as being patient with the challenges. After months of persistent effort, small steps accumulated into tangible results. Clara could read simple stories, understand basic conversations, and confidently communicate in real-life situations. Success did not come suddenly. It was the result of each study session, each hour of practice, and, most importantly, her patience and perseverance. Clara's story emphasizes that learning process of growth. Every challenge and difficulty becomes an opportunity to cultivate patience, enhance observational skills, and steadily develop abilities. Clara's journey also reflects Buddhist philosophy on patience and mindfulness. Every achievement is the result of accumulated effort, and every difficulty is an opportunity to observe, understand oneself, and practice patience in the learning journey. Patience is not passive waiting. It is an active, deliberate journey, step by step, helping individuals grow, develop skills, and open new doors in life. This story is a testament that in learning and personal development, patience is a quiet yet powerful force. It enables people to overcome challenges, cultivate intellect, and gradually achieve meaningful accomplishments, while maintaining joy and passion in the journey of exploring new knowledge and skills. Part 5. Patience in the face of grief and loss. Life is not always filled with roses. Sometimes we face loss, pain, and unexpected hardships. In those difficult moments, patience is not just about enduring. It is the strength to stand firm, learn to accept, and gradually heal. This section will share moving stories of how people, through patience, overcome sorrow, regain inner peace, and continue moving forward on life's journey. 5.1. A journey of patience in the face of loss, finding inner peace. 1. Windows, casting light on the paintings on the walls and the old keepsakes she had never dared touch. Each step felt heavy, each breath weighed down by loneliness and loss. A sudden accident had taken her parents, and the world seemed to collapse around Isabella. In the days that followed, she wandered silently through familiar streets, the places where her parents used to take her for walks, the cafes where they would sit and talk. Each location evoked memories, and instead of letting them drown her in grief, these memories began to urge Isabella to find a way to continue living. She did not seek immediate answers, but learned to face each emotion slowly, allowing herself to cry, remember, and then breathe again. Isabella began recording her parents' memories in a small piece, moments when she could sit quietly by the window, feel the light, hear the wind sweeping through the skyscrapers, without feeling completely empty. One morning, walking along the Hudson River, patience, day by day, moment by moment, helped her learn to accept loss and live with memories without being completely controlled by them. In the following months, Isabella gradually participated in volunteer work, helping others who had lost loved ones. Helping others was not only a way to honor her parents, but also a path to regain inner strength. Every smile, every story she shared reminded her that loss is an inevitable part of life, but patience and persistence in facing it can open the door to peace and hope. Isabella's story is a vivid testament that even in the most painful, closed after years of effort, the dim yellow light fell on piles of documents on his desk, each marking failed projects, unfinished plans, and the enormous debts he now had to bear. Daniel's heart felt heavy, every breath weighed down by disappointment and a sense of directionlessness. He remembered the early days of his career, full of enthusiasm, carefully planning, always striving to turn dreams into reality. But in the competitive and volatile world of business, not every effort leads to success. Partners withdrew, projects went awry, and wrong decisions constantly tested his limits. At times, Daniel felt all hope was gone, facing the deepest fear. Could he rise again after this failure? In the days following the setback, Daniel lost motivation. Wandering the empty streets of London, listening to the cold wind sweep through old buildings, feeling loneliness seep into every sense. But then, something within him began to awaken. Failure is not the end, but a lesson. He started reviewing each decision, each step, analyzing mistakes, and what he could learn from them. Daniel learned to be patient with himself, accepting that things do not always go as planned, and that sometimes the path to success passes through the most painful failures. He began keeping a daily journal, recording emotions, lessons, things, meeting friends, reading books, and attending workshops to learn from others who had experienced similar failures. He realized that failure is not just a material or reputational loss, but also an opportunity to cultivate resilience, expand intellect, and nurture patience. Every small step, every calm and thoughtful decision helped him regain confidence and a sense of control. A year later, Daniel launched a new project, but this time with a different attitude, more humble, more observant, knowing that failure could happen but would not deter him. He learned patience in every action, not chasing immediate results, but focusing on the process and enjoying each moment of growth. Patience allowed him to handle pressure, remain calm, and view every challenge as a learning opportunity. Daniel's story shows that when facing major failure, patience and acceptance are key to moving forward. Not everything happens as we wish, but persistence, step by step, and find our own path to growth and happiness. 5.3. When life's storms rage, patience helps overcome suffering. One August morning in Naples, Italy, Elena, a local teacher, looked out over the Elena herself had lost nearly all her personal belongings and had to take temporary shelter in a relief center. Sunlight filtered through the gray clouds, reflecting off the debris-filled waters, creating a scene both desolate and overwhelming. In the first days, Elena felt confused, discouraged, and even wanted to give up. Every effort seemed futile when confronted with the aftermath of the storm. However, she realized that merely crying and feeling sorrowful would not help herself or those around her overcome the challenge. She began addressing each problem step by step, manageable pieces, avoiding rush, and focused on what she could control. Whenever she felt tired or frustrated, she took time to rest, but never abandoned her work helping the community. Through persistence and patience, she gradually restored order in her life and inspired those around her to regain hope for the future. One of the most memorable moments was when Elena organized a small class for children in the relief center. Many of the children had lost their homes and school supplies, and initially felt anxious and fearful. But through Elena's gentle guidance and patience, they slowly engaged, laughed, and became excited about learning again. Seeing the light return to their eyes, Elena realized that patience not only helps oneself overcome suffering, but also spreads disasters, wars, or other emergencies, no matter how devastating, could become opportunities to strengthen one's spirit, practice patience, and appreciate the value of sharing and community. Patience is not merely enduring. It is the strength to rise, help others, and maintain faith that light will always follow darkness. Elena's story vividly demonstrates that in sudden social upheavals, from natural disasters to wars or crises, patience is the key to overcoming suffering. It allows people to manage emotions, focus on what can be done, and gradually rebuild life, while nurturing inner strength, compassion, and hope. Patience helps them resist being defeated by challenges and steadily find the path forward, opening new opportunities amid destruction and loss. Part 6. Patience in long-term challenges. Life sometimes places people in long-term challenges, where results do not come immediately and require time, persistence, and patience. These challenges can be large projects, long-term careers, or processes of self-improvement. In this section, we will follow individuals facing extended trials, learning to be patient step by step, confronting difficulties, and moving forward without giving up hope, while exploring how patience helps them grow and discover true value in their journey. 6.1. The journey of patience with long-term goals. His techniques, hoping that one day his works would be displayed in prestigious museums and international exhibitions. However, the path to artistic success was far from smooth. His first exhibitions drew little attention, critics were harsh, and he even received outright rejections from major galleries. Each failure left Hiroshi feeling discouraged and questioning whether he should give up. From easy, there were days when he felt exhausted, frustrated, and even considered leaving his craft, but patience kept him steadfast. He realized that patience was not merely endurance, but also learning to cherish the process, respecting every small step that led to a larger goal. One afternoon, while Hiroshi was finishing a painting, an international art critic happened to visit his small gallery. They were impressed by the subtlety and emotional depth of Hiroshi's work, and a few weeks later, he received an invitation to participate in an international exhibition in Paris. This success did not come from luck, but from years of patience, practice, and enduring early failures. Hiroshi's story emphasizes that pursuing long-term goals always comes with challenges, and patience is the key to turning difficulties into learning opportunities. When facing obstacles, instead of giving up, focusing on small incremental steps allows one to appreciate the value of the and self-confidence. Hiroshi also realized that patience is a form of daily meditation, observing emotions, accepting failures, and maintaining focus on long-term goals without being swayed by challenge, each painting, and each passing day. This story is a vivid testament that, regardless of the field, art, business, or meditation, being patient with long-term challenges not only brings external results, but also enriches the soul, strengthens the spirit, and helps each individual discover true value in their own journey. 6.2. Living patiently amid hardship when resilience overcomes circumstance. In the outskirts of Lisbon, Portugal, Maria, a young woman from a poor rural village, left her hometown to seek livelihood opportunities in the bustling city. Life far from home was far from easy. She rented a cramped room with several others, worked long hours at a small cafe to cover living expenses, and sent money back to support her family. Each day for Maria was a chain of challenges, early mornings to late nights, dealing with exhaustion, financial pressure, and the feeling of loneliness in an unfamiliar city. On her first day in Lisbon, Maria felt overwhelmed by the bustling streets, the traffic, and the hurried crowds. Everything was unfamiliar, from communication styles and food to small customs she had never known. She missed home, her parents, and the vast rice fields under the sun. But Maria knew that if she gave up, not only would her dream of a better life vanish, but her family back home would also suffer. In the early days, Maria often cried after her shifts, looking at the tiny room, the old bed, and the stack of bills. But she learned patience, reminding herself that all hardships are temporary and can be overcome step by step. She carefully planned her spending and allocated time between work and evening classes to improve her language skills, aiming to increase her career opportunities in the future. Over many months, Maria faced numerous trials, deteriorating health from lack of sleep, work pressure that made her want to return home, and the sense of isolation in a new community. Yet patience kept her steadfast. She avoided comparing herself to others or blaming her circumstances, focusing instead on small steps, paying a bill today, saving a little this week, improving her Portuguese skills slightly this month. These small achievements gradually built a sense of progress and hope, helping Maria keep moving forward. A memorable moment came when Maria was patient through daily challenges that opened this door. She also began attending evening classes to enhance her professional skills, hoping one day to open her own cafe. Maria's story shows that patience in difficult circumstances is not merely enduring suffering, but also learning to manage emotions, plan each step, and recognize the value of daily small efforts. When people are patient, they do not succumb to harsh conditions, but gradually discover opportunities, growth, and hope. Living patiently through long-term challenges, as Maria did, nurtures inner strength, determination, and independence. Every difficulty becomes a lesson, every small step a testament to growth and resilience. Patience in hardship not only brings external stability, but also builds a strong foundation for the soul, teaching people to persevere, endure, and open the door to the future with hope and powerful resolve. This story is a vivid testament that, no matter how harsh or difficult circumstances may be, patience and step-by-step persistence lead people to overcome challenges, turn difficulties into opportunities, and grow both spiritually and practically. 6.3. Staying strong through mental and ethical challenges when patience upholds life values. In Edinburgh, Scotland, Thomas, a young idealistic lawyer, always vowed to live according to the ethical principles he believed in. He worked at an international law firm, where pressure to perform and fierce competition were constant. On his first day, Thomas realized that many colleagues were willing, doubted himself, and even considered compromising his ideals to fit in and achieve faster career progress. But Thomas knew that patience and maintaining ethics were the only paths to true growth, building lasting credibility and trust. Every day, Thomas confronted situations demanding patience and decisiveness, patiently presenting transparent arguments to difficult clients, holding his ground in tense meetings, even when criticized or sidelined from promotion opportunities. Patience was not passive endurance, but the ability to remain steadfast, handle challenges with wisdom and composure, and uphold proper conduct and a strong spirit. One morning, Thomas was assigned a complex case involving the rights of a minority community. Many colleagues advised using shortcuts to speed results, but Thomas patiently gathered evidence, defended his client's rights transparently and ethically. The process lasted months, facing pressure, disparagement, and career risks. Yet his patience paid off. The case succeeded, the clients were protected, and Thomas was recognized not only for his competence, but also for his integrity and professional ethics. Through mental and ethical challenges, Thomas learned that patience is key to maintaining a righteous way of life. It helps overcome immediate pressures and temptations, strengthens willpower, develops emotional intelligence, and earns the trust of those around. Each act of patience before temptation or pressure fortified his spirit, sharpened decision-making, and deepened the values he cherished in daily life. This story illustrates that patience in ethical and mental challenges is not passive endurance, but a power to uphold life values, enhance character, and nurture personal growth. In situations demanding ethics and patience, one learns to observe emotions, restrain impulsive reactions, and maintain the right stance, thereby creating a strong foundation for long-term personal development. Thomas realized that every mental challenge is an opportunity to practice patience, develop self-control, and grow in character. Facing pressure and temptation, patience helped him protect his values while inspiring those around him, fostering a community where integrity and perseverance are respected and shared. This story proves that in any circumstance, patience in mental or ethical challenges is the path that allows a person to preserve values, mature spiritually and practically, and find inner peace in a world full of change and trials. Part 7. Patience in learning from nature and history. Nature and history always hold profound lessons about patience and perseverance. The cycles, natural changes, and stories of remarkable people from the past teach us that every success, growth, and understanding requires time, careful observation, and patience. In this section, we will explore vivid stories where characters learn to observe, listen, and draw lessons from nature and history, thereby developing wisdom and a resilient spirit. 7.1. When nature teaches patience, stories of trees, rivers, and forests. In a vast primeval forest this is not merely an abstract philosophy. In reality, the tree grows day by day, season by season, year by year, reaching upward gradually, its roots digging deep into the soil for water, its branches and leaves stretching towards sunlight, enduring every challenge that nature presents. The patient growth of the Bodhi tree teaches a valuable lesson. All maturation requires time and challenges. It does not rush, nor does it seek immediate results. Instead, it uses patience to build a solid foundation for long-term development. Fierce storms cannot destroy it. Instead, they make the roots anchor deeper and the branches sturdier. This demonstrates that patience is not passive waiting, but the ability to adapt, endure, and grow stronger through difficulties. Divide, or sometimes stagnate for years. Yet the river continues to flow, patiently wearing down the rocks over time, creating gorges, waterfalls, and fertile plains. The river's quiet persistence. Learn from every situation and develop wisdom and spirit steadily yet surely. This story is a vivid testament that patience is a natural force and a foundation for growth and success. When humans learn to observe and draw lessons from trees, rivers, and animals, they not only learn to live patiently, but also harmonize with the world around them, finding inner peace and the mental strength to face life's challenges. 7.2. Patience that changes the world. Stories of great historical figures. In 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. stood before a vast crowd in Washington, USA. His voice resonated not merely because of its volume, but because of the power of patience and unwavering belief. More than a decade earlier, King had embarked on the path of fighting for equality, a journey far from smooth. He faced racial discrimination, violence, political pressure, and countless setbacks that seemed insurmountable. Yet King understood that societal change could not happen overnight, and only patience could help him progress step by step, sowing hope in people's hearts each day. From small marches to passionate speeches in local communities, King gradually built a nationwide movement. Each time he was arrested, threatened, or misunderstood, he did not let anger or frustration dominate him. Instead, he used patience to learn, strengthen his arguments, face of any challenge. 7.3. Learning patience from culture. Lessons from Japan, India, and Buddhism. In Kyoto, Japan, artisans have been preserving traditional pottery techniques for centuries, carefully refining every detail and stroke without a hint of rush. They believe that each piece is not merely a physical product, but a culmination of time, patience, and dedication. Apprentices must observe every step, patiently wait for glazes to dry, fire the kiln, and correct minor mistakes without discouragement. Over the years, they realize that achievement comes only to life's challenges. Buddhism, with its profound spirit of patience, teaches that all phenomena are impermanent, and suffering ends when one understands, accepts, and patiently cultivates the mind. The story of the Buddha under the Bodhi tree is a vivid example. He sat in meditation through sun, rain, and temptation for many days, patiently seeking enlightenment. This image inspires millions worldwide, reminding that patience is the path to wisdom, inner peace, and personal transformation. These cultures, despite differences in geography, religion, or customs, share a common message. Not just a personal trait, but a cultural value passed down through generations. People learn to move slowly, observe, endure challenges, and persevere, developing intelligence, determination, and resilience. Learning from these cultures reveals that patience is an art combining time, experience, and awareness. Each failure and challenge becomes an opportunity to train the mind. Those who cultivate patience find ways to overcome challenges, maintain inner peace, and achieve lasting success. The stories in this section will explore how patience is applied in work, family, learning, and facing social pressures, offering valuable lessons that can inspire and guide our own lives. 8.1. When patience becomes the key to daily work success. Anna lives in a bustling city in clients. After some time, Anna realized that speed does not always equal effectiveness. She began practicing patience, carefully reviewing every document, double-checking numbers, communicating others. Anna's story reflects how patience can be applied in everyday work situations. A chef carefully perfecting each dish, a nurse attentively monitoring every detail of a patient's health, or a teacher patiently guiding students step by step. In every context, patience helps people observe carefully, learn from mistakes, and adjust wisely. Beyond work, patience helps balance emotions and reduce mental stress. Anna learned to set aside frustration, focusing instead on solutions, which helped her remain calm. She discovered that patience is like an invisible key, opening the door to better time management, increased efficiency, and building trust with everyone around. Over the years, Anna continued applying patience in every aspect of her work, handling emails, presenting, meeting clients, and resolving team conflicts. She learned that success does not always come from speed, but from perseverance, careful observation, and the ability to endure challenges without losing composure. Her colleagues gradually adopted her patient approach, creating a calmer, more efficient, and less stressful office environment. These experiences show that in modern life, patience becomes the art of those who know how to listen, observe, and act at the right moment. When practiced consistently, it not only produces positive results, but also nurtures maturity in both thought and spirit. Anna's story is clear proof that even seemingly mundane and repetitive tasks in modern life can become opportunities to cultivate patience. Every day, slow, careful actions and considered decisions contribute to shaping a patient, resilient, and sustainably successful individual in all areas of life. Through Anna's experience, we recognize that patience is an essential life skill, helping each person improve themselves while creating a harmonious, efficient, and humane environment at work and in the community. When patience becomes a habit, it not only helps overcome work challenges, but also lays the foundation for sustainable growth in modern life. 8.2. When Patience Meets Mindfulness, a journey of emotional and action control. Michael is a graphic designer. Living in London, a city that never sleeps, full of fast-paced life, tight deadlines, and constant creative pressure. Previously, he often felt stressed, quick to anger, and reacted hastily when facing work obstacles or conflicts with colleagues. These bursts of anger not only damaged relationships, but also affected the quality of his work. One day, Michael decided to try a completely different approach, learning mindfulness meditation and practicing patience in every action and emotion. At first, maintaining mindfulness was not easy for Michael. While meditating, thoughts about work, unanswered emails, or approaching deadlines constantly disrupted his mind. He realized that patience doesn't mean suppressing thoughts, but observing them, along with emotions and discouraged and wanting to give up. However, she knew that patience was essential to achieve her goals. Clara began applying patience to every study session, breaking knowledge into smaller parts. Or living through natural disasters or war, the characters learned to be patient to find inner peace, maintain mental stability, and continue moving forward. Patience allowed them not only to endure, but also to transform pain into strength, fostering compassion, empathy, and adaptability. Stories of long-term challenges, from pursuing business, art, or meditation goals to the struggles of people living far from home, demonstrate that patience forms the foundation of all sustainable achievements. Success does not come immediately. It is the daily, consistent steps that create significant differences. Patience is also evident in facing moral or ethical challenges, helping individuals maintain integrity, resist societal pressures, and uphold personal values. Learning from nature and can be cultivated and practiced daily. When patience and endurance become a part of life, we not only overcome obstacles, but also discover our inner strength, opening the door to success, happiness, and inner peace. This is the core message of the long journey through patience and endurance. Every challenge can be overcome when we remain patient, persistent, and take steady steps forward on the path of life. 9.2. Spiritual message. Patience, compassion, and mindfulness lead to inner freedom. The stories we have explored throughout this long journey do more than illustrate the power of impermanence, of the constantly changing nature of all things and emotions. When a person practices patience, they do not react impulsively to challenges, failures, or suffering, but observe and accept events with calmness and clarity. Patience combined with compassion opens the ability to perceive all beings and situations with genuine empathy. Compassion is not only kindness, but also an understanding that everyone experiences suffering in their own way, and the best way to accompany them is without judgment or pressure, maintaining an open and tolerant heart. When patience and compassion are practiced together, individuals gradually learn to restrain negative emotions, reduce anger, envy, and disappointment, and instead cultivate steadfast patience and generosity toward themselves and others. Mindfulness is the key that makes patience and compassion a living reality in daily life. Through mindfulness, every action, thought, and feeling is observed and accepted. Without judgment, mindfulness helps individuals remain present in each moment, avoiding being swept away by automatic reactions or unnecessary stress. Through mindfulness, patience becomes meaningful, compassion deepens and clarifies, and one is freed from attachments to the past or anxieties about the future, fully living in the present. When patience, compassion, and mindfulness, individuals become calm, unaffected by external circumstances, able to control their own responses, creating a life of depth, serenity, and fulfillment. The characters in these stories, facing personal adversity, career challenges, relationship conflicts, or grief and loss, demonstrate that patience combined with compassion and mindfulness provides the inner strength to overcome any situation. They not only survive, but also grow, mature, and radiate positive energy to those around them. This embodies Buddhism's profound message. Every challenge and difficulty is an opportunity to practice patience, compassion, and mindfulness, and thus achieve inner freedom. In modern life, when individuals face work pressures, family responsibilities, societal demands, fast-paced living, and deepened self-understanding, when practiced consistently, these three qualities enable a person not just to exist, but to live a meaningful, profound, and peaceful life. The stories in this section. Presence. Together, these three qualities form the path to inner freedom, enabling individuals to live fully, peacefully, and meaningfully. This is the profound spiritual message Buddhism teaches, and line. When listening without reacting hastily, when being patient with yourself in the face of challenges, you are sowing the seeds of inner peace. Every small action is a step on the path of. There are moments in life when the world seems to be against you. Everything feels heavy and hopeless, and you wonder if you have the strength to keep going. You stand before closed doors, with failure following one after another like an endless chain, and in your heart echoes the question, can I overcome this? Yet, in the very moments that seem the most hopeless, there is a silent power waiting for you to recognize it, a power that does not come from luck or sudden success, but from the ability to be patient, endure, and maintain inner peace even when life's storms rage with all their force. This strength is neither loud nor celebrated, yet it determines how you face challenges, how you move forward after each failure, and how you see the light even in the darkest times. On this journey, you will meet ordinary people like yourself, people who seemed on the verge of collapse under challenges, yet chose to slow down, be patient, and take one step at a time. Some have lost everything, from their jobs to their families, yet through patience, they gradually rebuild their lives, brick by brick, without rushing, without resentment. Some have been betrayed. What gives rise to this power? It is not a magic spell or a gift from the heavens. It is inner practice, the way a person learns to endure without anger, to wait without despair, and to trust that each challenge carries a seed of growth. In the stories you are about to hear, you will see that patience is not passive, nor is it blind endurance, but a subtle art of living where every step is deliberate, every emotion observed, and every failure turned into a valuable lesson. Imagine the feeling of standing before a challenge you once thought you could never overcome. Your heart feels heavy, everything around you seems to collapse, yet a part of you remains steady, still patiently taking steps, still believing that the small steps you take today will lead to a brighter tomorrow. Compassion. Throughout this video, each story will guide you through real experiences, from pain and failure to growth, from chaos and despair to inner peace. You will not only hear these fragments of life, but feel each breath, each step, each patient decision, and realize that the strength to overcome challenges has always existed within every